hit the like button, and let's get going to this video we have here. We have the Trump administration. Now, this new article talks about the Trump administration remove MLK Day from National Park Free Day. Now, the Trump administration have dropped Martin Luther King Jr. Day from the Free Day at National Park for 2026. The Department of the Interior, the DOI, recently announced it residents only Patriot Free Day for 2026, and missing from the list were MLK Day, which had been a national park free day since 2018, which was introduced as a free day in 2024. In place of these days, commemorating American history, civil rights, and equality, the Trump administration has instead opted to celebrate additional former president birthdays and Flag Days, which is also President Donald Trump's birthday. New Week have contact the National Park Service, the NPS, the DOI, and the King Centers. Email for comments outside of regular working hours. MLK Day is a federal holiday that celebrates the civil rights leaders' contribution and legacy of promoting equality, justice, in the country. Also, a federal holiday commemorates the end of slavery in the U.S. The remove of these days as free National Park Day followed the Trump administration pause on certain days of remembrance, including MLK Day earlier this year, as part of the president's ban on diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. Trump, criticized by some earlier this year for hosting military parades on June 14th, the day of his 79th birthday, although he says was not about his birthday. He was instead to commemorate the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Army. The DOI announced 2026 Free National Park Day and a broader update on its aim to monetize park access and prioritize affordabilities for American families, which is in keeping with Trump's American First policies. For 2025, the Free Day and National Park includes MLK Day on January 20th, first day of National Park Week on April 19th, and June 19th, the anniversary of a great American outdoor act August 24th, National Public Land Day. September 27th, Veteran Day, November 11th. But for 2026, the Free Day looks very different. The list is now. Present Day on February 16th, which commemorate the birthdays of former President George Washington, Abraham Lincoln. Memorial Day on May 25th, Flag Day on June 14th, which is also Trump's birthday. Independence Day weekend from July 3rd to 5th, the 110th birthday of the National Park Service. On August 25th, the Constitution Days on September 17th, the Roosevelt birthday on October 27th, the Veteran Day, November 11th. According to the National Park Foundations, it is the MPS alongside the DOI that designates which day each year will be a free with the aim to encourage Americans to visit the park on those special days. The days chosen are usually a combination of federal holidays, public lands, observances, and commemorative days for the next years. The days chosen seem to fall in line with the Trump administration, American First policies. The department also announced the launch of new digital American Beautiful passes, which will allow Americans to buy and use their pass on mobile device. And the DOI says it will provide fast entries and smoother visitors entry. The new pass also featured Trump's face, according to the people, alongside of George Washington. The DOI also says it will be new free brought in for foreign visitors. America will pay an annual cost of $80, while the annual pass will cost a non-resident $250. Non-resident without an annual pass will pay $100 per person to enter 11 of the most visit parks in addition to standard free. Now, what people are saying, the secretaries of the Interior has says President Trump leadership always put American family first. These policies ensures that U.S. taxpayers who already support the national park system continue to enjoy the affordable access while the international visitors contribute their fair shares to maintaining and improving our parks for future generations. So it says, Mary France Berry, a professor of American social thoughts and history at the University of Pennsylvania, told Newsweek the removal of the MLK Day from free days just helps to accelerate the trends towards reducing information about our nation's struggles towards liberty and justice for all. All this as we prepare to celebrate the Declaration of Independence. See, y'all have to understand, keep in mind, 1776, when they came to roll in these constitutions. Someday, sooner or later, they were going to take, the MLK Day and making that irrelevant, as we see. So now it says, according to this report, it says The executive directors are Soul Train Outdoors, a nonprofit that connects European communities of colors to outdoors, told this policy shift deeply concerning. Removing free entry days on MLK Day send a troubling message about who our national parks are for. These holidays hold profound cultural and historical significance for Black communities, and eliminating them as assets point feel like a direct targeting of the very groups who already face the systematic barriers to the outdoors. Now, what happened next that we got asked? It says the first of the free national park days for 2026 will be present days. February 16th, skipping the MLK Day on January 20th. Now we got to get into this now, because I want to talk to you from Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy when they had spoke out for Negroes. We seen from the death of Abraham Lincoln to the assassinations of President Kennedy. It proved that on each of these occasions was outlaws and overrule authorities. It was in the case of presidents who opened their mouths, said something favorable for the so-called Negro. I'm not saying that this was the reason President Kennedy was assassinated, but we've seen it is very strange that every president who says something favorable for the so-called Negro pay for it with his life. We also can substantiate this by facts. Any Negro wants to lead the so-called Negro into a better life towards truth, peace, freedom, justice, and equality, which he is entitled to enjoy. It's also subject to the same kind of assassination or attempt at assassination. I know these to be facts. There are some who seem not to want a true freedom, who will also speak unfavorably and plan unfavorable actions against those who dare to lead a true struggle for justice and equality. The tragic death of President Kennedy should serve as a warning to all rulers and people of value that value cannot be trusted openly in the presence of thieves and robbers. There have never been a president elected to such high office who had the hearts of everyone for him, and never was there a king who asked the people wholeheartedly with him, regardless of how good the king, the president, prime minister, or the spokesman for the king or president. There may be some people who do not like the high official holding the top office of the nation. I think they should be well protected, and all precautionary steps should be taken to ensure such person's safety. Ride in an open car or walking openly in the public is usually a needless risk taken by anyone holding such high office, especially when they are political officials. Those spiritual teachers, such as prophet of God and messengers, their life have not been spared in the public according to recorded history of the life of these characters. They are both friends and enemies of public service. You must be aware of them. Such outlaw action permitted in America is a disgrace, shame to the governments and to people who are recognized as world leaders, an example of what others should do, a way of friendship and cooperations. With the great scientific advancements that America has made, it does not seem possible in this modern time that the tragedy that took place on the 22nd of November should have happened. This is a long way from the assassination of President William McKinley. There are 62 years between the two assassinations of presidents of the United States of America. With such great advancements in the scientific of protection, these things shall never happen. Again, it shows to the world that the governments of America and its people are actually given to such outlaw and violent actions. Take human life at will, disregarding their own legal laws against such actions, makes the country be classified as a country of governments, of outlaws, where people have no safety of their lives under laws which claim to safeguard the life of human characters. The natural election. See, the black men of America have been privileged by the slave master children for the last centuries to vote for rights for office to judge and rule. This freedom to vote that made the black man of America feel very identified and proud of himself. Goes to the poll very happy to vote for a white ruler. Today, he is gradually changing to a desire to vote for his own kind for such office of authority. We must remember that our vote is strong and powerful only when and where the white man can use it to get in the office over his white opponent. At the election and the victory, there are very few favors that come from his office to a black voter who have helped it and aided him in getting in office. Why? Because he does not own the black voter anything as long as he has to feed, clothe, and shelter him. The black votes could be cash or not cash. The right citizens of the governments are going to win and continue to rule anyway. There is much talk of this man, and that man who shall the vote of the people put in the White House for the next 4 years. How much good have the two parties, Republicans and Democrats, done for us for the last centuries in the way of freedom, justice, and equality, regardless of what party wins? The die is always set against us, the black people in America. And justice, corrupted politics, and the breathing of corruptions under politics have been practiced it ever since Adam to the present day rulers. See, Adam was the first crop. There have not been justice for the black man and his race of people. And this is why the race suffer from the effect of today. There are black politicians who would like to use their black people for selfish greed and will throw down behind any crop with money. Black politicians of this type have sold their black brothers to suffer shame for self-evaluation with the crop. See, this election is one of the most serious in history of American governments because neither party that seeks the office of presidency has faced it with the problem of saving lives of the people of America. If the present party Democrat remain in office, you know the answer. If the Republican Party take over, you should know the answer. There will be a lull before the storm. The storms could be delayed in every hour and day that it can be delayed is to your benefit. The black man should be very serious and careful about his voting because 90% of the black votes cast by one who did not have the knowledge of what they are casting their votes for. As I have said for many years, vote for God to be your ruler and come follow me. The dead are rising. They seek their own. The dead are we, the black one slave of the white man of America. We are a mentally dead people. We are dead to the knowledge of self and others. The knowledge of self have now come to us from God, who came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever. Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, is a man. His teaching brings us into reality and not to some kind of spooky or spirits or ghost-like teachings. Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, is the all-wise knowing God. Desire that we see him as he is, a human being, and not something beyond the families a human being spooks them. We can never ask a forming spirit to lead us because we are not a forming spirit ourselves. Man only listen to man, and see, man cannot listen to other than man. And I have proof we just never was able to obey anything but ourselves. We, the once dead mentally, are now coming to a knowledge of life. We learn this lesson of the living. We destroy the brief and other than ourselves. Bring us up in slavery time, putting us into a mental death with something that the slave masters and his children did, because a desire to make us into something that was other than the truth, in order to be able to keep our minds enslaved. From the visit of God and the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, the time now have come to us, as it is written, that on the day of judgment we shall see God as he is. Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. The rise of the dead does not by any means mean what you and I was taught when we was little boys and little girls. Even while we was little boys and little girls, and man and woman age, we are still pushed on the baby side for understanding of the truth. We the black people are no longer babies. We are babies to no one except God himself. You are fast learning that you are not babies anymore, but on your rise up from the dead knowledge of black self and others. You are learning fast that Allah God is fast in creating us a new way of thinking. For the way in which we have been thinking was in the way of untruth an unseemly way of understanding. America is a country where evil is dominant and the people in America think nothing but evil. It's very seldom that you can talk to a person without getting the thought quickly. Their mind is filled with evil. We, the black people in America, are called dead spiritually. And we, the black people in America, now desire to make for ourselves something better than what the slave master children have made of us. We want to make something better of ourselves than what the slave master children still do make of us. Look at the many people who used to be stage actors who are now forsaking the stage as being a mockery to them, and are now former stage actors who want to be seen and convert with as civilized black people, and that as some kind of a stage actor. The white stage actors are with some sense, we see, because they are civilized. A meaningless act is not enjoyed by people who are intelligently learned into the knowledge of civilization. But the poor black man here in America have no knowledge of any civilization. But the white man has gotten to all of the civilized people of the earth. And he knows them, and they know him. This is why now a war between civilization must take place, because the present ruler, right race, have deceived the whole entire civilized world with their civilization of deceits. So the white race was made for the purpose of making mischief. The white race was made for the purpose of deceit. And now the Almighty God has come to make manifest that which had been hidden, or the truth. This runs the white man from under his deceitful blanket, which he had, the white man covered it. As the Bible teaches us, see, God will pull the cover off of the cover and show the nation his right race shame. As Psalms chapter 2, verse 4 said, he will sit in heaven and he shall laugh. He will have you in humiliation. See, if the white man has not been uncovered yet by Almighty God, Allah, came in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever. See, I do not see any cover left for the white man's skin. But Allah God is pulling the cover off of the white race. See, this makes it possible for us, the black people, who is dead to the knowledge of the truth, to see the natural characteristics of this deadly white enemy of the black man. Now we can stun our enemies like we do a rattlesnake. When we see the rattlesnake or hear his rattle sting, we begin to try and seek cover for a rattlesnake if we are not able to kill. For we know his deadly sting, but this snake, right race, have overtaken us. He has bitten us so many times that we have become so poisoned from his poison getting into our blood, from his sting, that it has taken God now to come to prevent the snake from continuing to sting us. And Allah God has the cure for our being bitten by the snake. He will separate both of us from being involved with each other, so so that the snake poison's sting will not affect us. The black man in America have never knew anyone but the right race. So therefore, the black man seek pacification and mercy from a people. You cannot blame the white man from what he is. You cannot blame him from being what he is. For the white people was made the people that they are. And the white man had made us, the black man other than our own self. At the present time, we are not like we were when we was created in the beginning. In the beginning, we was created right. And then we was deceived by the deceiver, who was made a deceiver by nature. Our black people are rising up, and we are happy to rise to acknowledge yourself and others. The rise of the dead will be like the blast of a trumpet pretty soon. The black people will become to acknowledge of themselves so fast that it will look like the rise of the dead has taken place at once. I just love to look at my black people now. All of them are rising, and listen to them talk. See how much different they are. My black people must get out of the white man's names. But my black people must be qualified to enter the original names of Almighty God, Allah. Come to the temple of Islam and learn all about yourself. And after learning all about yourself, you will be able to take those who enslave you and warp them around your little fingers. You will not feel them on your little fingers until you see them on your little fingers and snake them off. See, God loves you and I love you. We want to build this world for ourselves, to live in this world in peace and happiness, the resurrection of our people. See, this old world must be removed to make way from a new world. There's a universal struggle we see being waged by this old world against the beginning of a new world. Will the old world opposition prevent the establishment of a new world? According to recorded history, the effort being made by the old world against the beginning of a new world will fail as their former opponents of Allah. According to the history we see of Noah, the people ridiculed the very thoughts of Allah, bringing the flood to drown them. See, Noah was laughed at and succumbed for preaching such a doctrine. According to the Bible, Holy Quran, he was called a liar and looked upon as a crazy person. You see, some of the members of the Noah family joined the mockers and disbelievers of Allah and his messengers, who was Noah. They met the same fate as others who disbelieved. The opposition of that world to advent of a better world we see was total a failure. So shall it be with those today who oppose the beginning of a new world of righteous Islam. In the time Abraham and his nephew Lot, before the birth of Ismail, Isaac, and Abraham, two sons, the people are mockers and haters of truth and righteousness in that part of the world. Cities of Sodom we see and Gomorrah have become victimized to every imaginable evil. They even threatened the life of the preacher of righteousness Lot, disregarding the strangers. The angel visited Lot until it was too late. So it is with the opponents of the messengers of Allah today in America. We see the wicked always believe that they are mightier than Allah, and they make a supreme effort to thwart the plan and purpose of Allah for bringing about a better world. They always love to attack the messengers, to try to condemn him as a liar, trying to prove the messengers a liar, calling God a liar. The Holy Quran repeatedly decides a miserable, shameful, and disgraceful defeat for the disbelievers and hypocrite in a campaign against the last messengers of Allah, whom Allah will rise in the time of the resurrection of the dead people. The messengers are never sent. They always are rise in the midst of those whom Allah will warn. So they can't claim that they did not understand the language of the messengers or say that he was a foreigner or a stranger. The messengers is one from them. For nearly 34 years, I have served you just as God, a warner of old, served a hard-headed, disbelieving people who was great lovers of the enemies of God and the true religion of Islam, which means entire submission to Allah's will. See, there is mockery and evil plans are made against my life by the wicked, just as it was made against Noah, the prophet. The powerful, rich world of Christianity, especially America, is made to seem as movable as mountains. But it's not impossible to remove mountains. They can be removed by high explosive. So wealth and power also can be reduced to nothing. We are now living in the judgment of doom of this white man's world. Preparation had been made to meet every effort by the white man to oppose the beginning and setting up of Allah's new world of righteousness, Islam. The government we see of USA today watches my followers with an evil eye, seeking to deceive anyone who will enter the fold to help further the cause of truth and the upliftments of the mourning heads and the grieving hearts of the American so-called Negro, to help make them a nation of righteousness and justice, to serve as a star for the nation of their own kind forever. The U.S. government is active in its deceitful work of trying to slow the progress of the resurrection of our people. The American whites want us to reject God and the true religion of Islam, believe in their false religions and false gods whom they cannot make manifest to you. They cannot prove to you in this day and time that Christianity is a decent for you, as well as for themselves against their doom. America must be taken and destroyed according to the prophets at the time and end of the wicked world, where the lost and found members of the ancient people are found. America hates and mistreats her slave to the extent that it has reached the hearts of Allah and the righteous people of the earth, the nation of Islam. We read where our black brothers refer to the American so-called Negro as their brothers, while according to the preaching of some of these lost and found members of the nation of this earth, they rather have themselves referred to as their brothers of their enemies. The extent to which the enemy have poisoned it, the minds and hearts of my people here in America, is shameful. They willfully do anything to deceive the so-called Negro, to going to their doom with them. There is no way for an enemy of Allah, his messengers, his people, the darker people of the earth to find strength, power, and wisdom enough to win in a war against Allah, as it is written in the Christian Bible and many other places. But the days of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, and you with the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, the works therein shall be burnt up. The Bible, Peter chapter 3, verse 10. The earth shall not be burnt. It will be here for many thousand years to come. Only that on the earth, the devil which has sinned against Allah and his laws will be destroyed. The earth, the sun, the moon, and the stars shall never disobey Allah since their creation. The opposer of truth. We see Adam and Eve, we see the father and mother of this white race refuse the religion of Islam, peace, because we see of their nature, which they was made. This make it impossible for the white race to submit to Allah and obey his laws of righteousness. This, the law found members of the nation from the tribe must learn of the right race, that it is a waste of time to seek mercy and justice from a people who by nature do not have it for each other. They talk and preach the goodness of God and his prophets only to deceive you, who by nature are of the God of righteous, and to fall them away from our God to a God who does not exist. You see, our future is at stake. 99% of us do not know it, but every evil spooner around you, seeking an excuse to do their worst to you, make it hard for the 99% ignorant to ever know the truth. The great desire is to prevent you from ever accepting the truth. They claim the truth, but they hate real teachings. You see, they seek any kind of charge to place against us to get revenge for our preaching the truth. They tap our telephones and follow us around from place to place and use tape recording machines, and the hypocrites and stew pigeons amongst us keep them up to date on what we say and do. They are bold enough to even ask your own relatives to help them to do you evil and due to fear and ignorancy on the parts of my poor people. The enemy hires them to destroy themselves. The truth hurts the guilty. Will persecution, murdering the truth bearers help the evildoers? In this late hour of the day, we see the end of their time. Our problem must be solved, says Allah, the God of righteousness, who is with you and me to raise us up, the poor lost, the found members of the original owners of the planet Earth, the tribe. A good solution is as follows. Stop opposing the spread of Islam peace amongst us. Let us go back to our God, Allah, and our religion of Islam peace. Since you will not give us the so-called nickel, equal justice, and do not want social mixing with your free slave because of the degrading and lowering your own status and the eyes of the world, help us to go for ourselves, neither out or in your countries. For 400 years, we have served you with our labor, sweat, and blood. The lash of your whoop, your killing, lynching, and burning of our innocent black flesh without even a hearing in a court of justice, nor even our murders being punished, although we are marked before your enemies. And there we pour our life for the freedom of your life, children, in your countries. We return home to meet an even worse enemy. We are hated and kicked out in certain places like an unwanted dog who have caught the game but was not given a taste of it. Only that with the hunter could not and should not eat himself. The dog being too ignorant to recognize the injustice done to him by his master would jump to his feet again at the call of his master to offer his life for his master life. This we have and are still doing for you. We are not wanted in your better neighborhoods. In many places, we have to be guarded and protected by your armed force in order to live in a house which one of your kinds has sold to us. Yet, we are the most peaceful and honest of the population. We are taxed equally and perhaps more than those of our own kind, who are the real citizens and owners of this country, America, though our labors of our fathers made and built it for you. See, think over. You see, millions of us working, fighting, dying at your hands, and others for 400 years without a home which we can call home, not being allowed to worship our God, religion, nor have unity among self and our kind without being charged with this worst crime and overthrowing the government by force, though we had no arms to do such. Just to have an excuse today for you persecuting and seeking to kill this same poor 400-year-old slave. We, the whole nation of this law-found members of this black nation, America, must remember that for the past 400 years, we have been wearied by the enemy of our fathers. According to their own history writing, bringing us up from our native lands and people into this Western hemisphere was not for the purpose of making themselves friendly people to us and our nation, but to deceive us as being that which they actually were, not a friend and advisor to us, while at the same time depriving us of the truth, justice, and equality, even now after 400 years of servitude, slavery. We must remember that deceiver actually had deceived us to the coming of God, and the person Master Salah Muhammad, to whom praise or due ever, is to make manifest this arch deceiver work against us and to equip us with the nature of the arch deceiver, that deceit is part of his very nature. He Allah comes to give us the knowledge of the God of evil, who have freedom for this past 6,000 years to deceive not only you and me, but also the entire nations of the earth. This is the greatest starvation that God, Allah, could bring to you and me, to know the source of our trouble and its cause. The power of the manifestators is to remove this cause, which has affected the black nation for 6,000 years. It is worth the heaven and earth to us when we agree on not trying to make them our friends, which by nature they cannot be, even if they wanted to. Only a few have the brief of goodness. By nature, they are not good, but they could practice goodness. Our position makes us the victims of deceits of these great scientific deceivers, the right race. They put us to sleep as babies, and they know the type of noise that awaken that sleeping baby. The noise is that with Allah, person Master Allah Muhammad has made. And he, Allah, has missioned me to continue to make that noise till all our people are fully awakened from the slumber of the deceiver of the nations of the earth. Surely, not all are really working to keep us blind, deaf, and dumb to the knowledge of the deceivers, but the few who will help us endanger their own life and trying to help us. As you see, the Christian priests in Milwaukee who profess to be trying to help those who want to live next door in the house of the children of our father's slave masters, we see is having trouble. Even this easily could be classified as deceitful work against this true freedom, justice, and equality for our people. This priest is having trouble amongst our open, vigorous haters of you and me of his kind. See, this priest wants to help this poor black man here in America, especially Milwaukee, to accept false friendships, to forever be at their mercy, to rule spiritually, economically, and politically. He is not trying to teach this black man that they should not want to sell themselves back to their slave master for a morsel of pottage. This priest knows by the scriptures in his Bible that the time is right for total freedom of the 400-year-old slave of this white man to go to his own earth. The priest is wise to you that you should have a place to live wherever you want. He would not have dared teach this openly before this day and time, the end of this world. The others are so evil and vigorous to do us harm. That great gang of white people out in the streets will attack that one poor black man going to the area in his car and we yell, "Get that nigga." It shows a coward actions of the white man in America ever since we have been here, going after the so-called nigga to do him harm. We always want 100 whites to attack that one nigga. This shows cowardice and the savage attempts of the right race against black people. So the black man could put a stop to such evil attack or this evil force, but it's not the way of Allah God. It's not the way of the prediction, as the priest knows. The coming of Allah and the search for the black lost members of their nation today is to make himself known so he can conquer our captors by using weapons against which they had no power. He allowed will be an attack of divine judgment of the world without the use of contrived weapons. The weapons of war used by God in the past history of destruction, an enemy of God, such as Noah's people, Lot's people, and Moses' people are an example of what he will use today. The weapons are the force of nature against which we have no power. So America is under such divine attacks now, and storms we see as rain, hail, earthquakes. The laugh is yet to take place. A terrific drought we see is on its way to against America. The books must be fulfilled. The Bible and Holy Quran both refer to all that I have said. This is the divine judgment to bring America to her knees. America hates the people of God. And the nigger do not know that they are really the people of God. This is the great truth, that you must come to this knowledge of that you are a member of the families of God and not a member of the families of the devil, but you follow the devil's country to your own nature. The natural man, black, is of his God himself. We have been deceived of the righteous justice and equality by our deceivers. We have been taken from the knowledge of self as being a true people of God. And a God is present seeking us to place us again into the orbit of the divine supreme being where we can rotate in submission to the will of God as the entire universe is doing, except the right race. We cannot set up a better government for our people by using this corrupt political activities of these people, the art deceivers. All their work was based upon deceiving the nation, not to bring them into friendly brotherhood, prosperity for the black man. Even today, after 400 years of so-called freedom, he is still against you going free. This is your trouble today. You are deceived and deceived by the enemy you think is a friend. But take notes of what he is offering you. He's offering you only temporary enjoyment and not permanent enjoyment for your people. You won't summon this earth and add a temporary room in the house of our enemies. Let the political and spiritual leaders unite on such a stand as getting some earth for the people, and that getting just a job and a chance to loll around sleeping, allowing the enemy to protect our responsibility for self. We must bear our own responsibilities. This the God of justice and truth will force you to do before he will be defeated. His purpose and aim is to unite us to our own. He will fight the arch deceiver with the force of nature, with his own wisdom, which has no equal, to make you and enemy bow to his will. This is the judgment of the world, especially of the white man in America, who had been here for 400 years, living between the two oceans, the Atlantic and the Pacific, to do as he pleases. The slave is deprived of the freedom to do as he pleases, but to do as the slave master pleases. Our great misunderstanding of self and of others lies in deceit of the deceiver of us. They will never teach you and me to do good for self, only under their own power and dictatorship. What we need is unite, not demanding and marching all over the country to live near the white man and his home, but demand a separate place for us and his country, and to help us with the means of civilization, as he have to get started limiting the time to get started within the next 20 or 25 years. Many scientists thinks that it's too late for this demand because of the anger of Allah God against America for evil done to us. But Allah has the power for all things, and he does that which he will to do. It is up to America, and she wants to help us. It will be a great good putting us on the way to self by any evil one or nation. God of justice will grant them a reward for doing such, as no good act goes without its reward. They deceive the so-called Negro under temptation, filth, the promise that they will be given jobs and new homes next door to them in the same territory which their very nature is against, and which is without any future. It is temporary enjoyment. We want something permanent to give us a few of these states to live in to ourselves, which we have well earned with 400 years of free labor. See, when he sees that his life and your life at stake, to try to accept the present plan filled with deceits, to the Negro, both you and he welcome an opportunity to agree on a kind of program. Unite with me, Black America, for your starvation. We see, never since the creation of Adam and Eve had there been such time as we are witnessing today, with the worst yet to come. There is no peace amongst the nations of this earth. The only few people who enjoy peace of mind and contentment in this day and time are the elect of God, though they are persecuted from city to city, falsely accused and denied it, the credit due them because of the righteousness and the malice of the wicked who have ruled the world. By no means can the righteous be represented, for the righteous sake, by the evildoers of the world. God is despised and rejected, evil is accepted, and honor and justice stand far off, and equity cannot come in, said the prophet Isaiah in the Bible. The Holy Quran warns us to fear a day when evil is spread far and wide, for the days of God's presidency at the end of the satanic world, to bring it to nothing. Allah God caused the evil world to be upset, since they had been the enemies of peace, the haters and destroyers of the righteous, who had brought them peace if they had accepted those worthy of the prophets. But they reject all Jesus charged them with, being the murderers of the righteous, from Abel to Zachariah. We can very well add more and say from Abel to Muhammad. Today, America professes to be the most Christianized country on our planet, but actually she is not. A Christian means to be Christianized into one. Spiritually, that one refers to the Christ. Christ means the one who is coming to at the end of the world, or the wicked as a crusher. His name actually means one who is anointed to crush the wicked. The real satanic people are the right race, who have discussed themselves to deceive the black people to follow them. They just use the name Christian, which means to be Christ-like. They have set up a head for the religion of Rome, Italy, with the Pope Father who represents himself as being the intercessors, meaning one who is second only to Christ or God, to intercede for the people, sins and recognition of God. But he has no divine backing. This false should be destroyed by the Christ, the crusher of the wicked. We see the great Mahdi of Islam, Allah, God in person. These are the days of God, the Christ's presidency, to destroy this evil world with all deceptions, that the people should again labor under a wicked ruler, the devil. The presidency of Allah has upset the devil, who have had and exercise total control over the world under falsehood, and have made evil to appear fair seemingly. The so-called Christian world had never before displayed it such madness as they do today, since they cannot hide their real wickedness and deceitful ways. They are angry. According to the preaching we see and teaching of this Christianity, they prophesied that they alone will be the happy group that will welcome the coming of the Messiah, the Christ, or the Mahdi. But the Bible condemned them, that they was angry and sought to hide their face from him, God. It should be clear to you today that Christian America does not want such preaching as entire submission to the will of Allah, Islam. Christians hate the very name of God, such as Muhammad, which are attribute of God. And Jesus prophesies that they will hate you for his God name's sake, for having one of his names. Because the name of God are to live forever. The name of God are to live forever. No other people on earth have names of God but the Muslims. So the coming we see of the just one make manifest to this evil race of sinners, and they will be against the God presidency and be angered because of him, who will seek to destroy him and his messengers, as it is prophesied. Second Psalm. Every nation has a term And every nation have a term. So when a term comes, they cannot remain behind the least while, nor can they decide. The Holy Quran, Surah 734. There was a term for the people we see in Noah, Lot, and Moses. This also holds truth. The life and death of individuals. All is under control. Almighty Allah, especially when the divine beginning and ending have been appointed for the accomplishment. It's attained work that must be done by a life of people. The above chapter and verse of the Holy Quran is a warning to a present nation. The term is now coming to an end. If we know what is said to us, what is written by the prophet for us to read, study, and ponder over, if we understand, we should not fall victims to misunderstanding and disbelief. The trouble with the black man in America is that he is heedless of the truth. For he was reared by the slave foster parents who was his enemy, the white race. He caused him to become heedless. It was the intention of the enemy to make this black man an enemy to the truth as he himself was and is. This the enemy was successful in doing. The black man in America is referred to as being blind, deaf, and dumb, in many instances as dead. This is the work of the enemy. Therefore, it took one who is our friend, not our enemy, to do good to us, restore us to life mentally. The children of the father's slave masters who took our life mentally are working just as faithfully as their fathers did. However, since 100 years have elapsed from the time of the slave fathers, the children are wiser, educated, more method to keep the black man in America blind, deaf, and dumb. In the days of servitude slavery of our grandparents, see, the white slave master did not even give them good food. Today, you can buy good food if you have the money. However, much of it is poisoned by chemical use. The slave master will offer a piece of fried chicken and a biscuit with a little butter on it to a so-called nickel as an introducement for him to teach or preach what the slave master wanted him to the other slave on Sunday morning. The slave did not have the theologically of the scriptures, and he made his other brothers spiritually blind, deaf, and dumb. Same goes for the preachers of today. As you can see, they preach for a reward for both whites and blacks. I have tried them for many years. They are as their fathers were, the desire to follow the white man. They want him to give them a better position. And will offer to cut off the heads of their black brothers if it will please their masters. Although I live in a neighborhood with white neighbors, I do so for the purpose of proving that I can live in a neighborhood just as cleanly and noisily as they do. See, white people do not like you come to their neighborhoods. See, jumping on them and licking them in the mouth like a puppy. They do not want their friends to think that they are taking you for an equal. He will talk to you for a moment as a friend when he is not in the presence of members of society. They do not like you coming to their blocks, beating your wife or girlfriends, and drinking in front of the house. No decent, intelligent person likes this. Where he is white as snow or black as the ace of spades. You can go to the jungle and you will not want this. You see, late at night, he and a gang of monkeys will come out and beat you up. See, the American so-called Negro had been made out of himself and kind by white Americans. He must now be reformed. In fact, God has promised him a new body. The Bible and Holy Quran teach us that we will be a new people altogether. He will destroy and act ignorant and foolish. He is not aware of his ignorant action because he has become a part of ignorancy. Now the end of the term which was set for the white man have come. The average so-called Negro, the law-found members of the black nation, does not know that this is the end of the world of the white man, his rule over the black nations. He will not listen to one of his own kind who tell or teaches him of the time and doom of the world that we have known, white man's world. They offer high positions and money to the so-called Negro, intellectual politicians who will work against the good of the American people. They will accept such, for they have been deceived of love for self and kind. Now, what do they care about the millions who are so raw in the mud of civilization? They are content as long as they eat the butter biscuit and the fried chicken, as their slave fathers did. You would not think that they will hire themselves out to be stool pigeons, white man bootlickers, Uncle Toms, in these modern times, and advance their education. But they are just doing that. They do not want the praise of God and their own black people. See, they want it for their slave master children. See, the slave master children will give it to them as long as they reject themselves and kind and worship white people. See, the white man is very clever in making a public fool of this black man. They show the brown, yellow, and red man what a great job they have done on the black man in America and throughout the earth. See, he's doing what nature bid him to do. I do not blame this white man anymore for making fools of our people. It is the nature of this white man to make a fool of our people. But it's not the nature of our people to allow him to make a fool of us. But when you have been given the knowledge of yourself, the nature in which God created you, you still allow the enemy to make a fool of you, and you do not have the sympathy of God and the righteous, and that after knowledge. The divine term that was given to this right race to allow them to make a fool of the black man and rule him with tricks is now up. The devil with his tricks must be removed. He was given this chance to deceive you with his trickology, and therefore God will not hinder the devil from tricking you if he can. This is written in the Holy Quran. But God promised hellfire to both the devil and his followers, who we can get from the black nation. Therefore, you and I, after the knowledge of the devil, his tricks, his terms, should not blame anyone but ourselves. If we allow the devil to trick us, for that is the job of the devil. It is his nature. We blame ourselves and not the enemy. You lust for his have new women and thirst for whiskey and beer. You desire gambling, robbing, killing each other for the personal property of others. This is the work of the devil upon you. You do not have to allow him to cause you to live such a life. Do not blame them. Blame your foolish self. It has always been the policy of the white man to use a black man against a black man, especially leaders. Look at history. See how he had deceived and kill off black leaders of fortune land? And then they took over themselves This should be a lesson for you and me. We the Muslims have watched our people who have come amongst us as eyes and ears and stewed pigeons for white folks. When they have become converted to the truth and join us, confess that they are ashamed, that they have worked against us for a few perishable dollars. We know that this white man's our enemy. Wherever we are, he offers some silly so-called a high office and high pay to work against us Muslims, the righteous, or any so-called, where he be a Baptist, Methodist, holy roller, or sanctified, some ladies so-called work against him for the white man. It is a shame in such modern time to see black politicians and preachers accepting positions to work against their own black people for a few dollars from a race whose time have come to an end. We are justified in taking it. And the white man give us $100 billion. We deserve it. But we are not justified to sell our life for such a gift in this day and time. Declare yourself a Muslim. See how much the devil will give you. You say we will give it to you. If we preach that we are not devils, and we will answer that is just the same as saying, if you do not preach the truth of me, so that I can continue to see the world of your kind, I will help you. Remember what the Bible teaches us. That Satan said, Jesus, all these things I'll give you if you will fall down and worship me. Matthew 4:9. And he showed him the kingdoms of the world. Perhaps you will be offered the world of the wicked priest soon. If so, the Bible says, what profit a man if he gains the whole world and loses his own life soul? This is a warning to the preachers. The little money with its dying value will not help you against God's aim and purpose of the resurrection of the dead, lost foundings of the nation. You lose your life. For so, in doing, you should, but you cause innocent ones who are blind, deaf, and dumb to go to hell with yourself and enemies. Allah, God, came forth in the person Master Muhammad, whom praise are due forever, the Son of Man, as is written, seeking to save that which was lost and to restore it again, that which have gone astray. He said to me that he will eat the rattlesnake to save our life, and that he will walk 40 miles up a mountain to teach just one in order to save his life in exchange for our safety and return to our home. I have taken him for my God and my Savior. I advise you to do the same regardless of the offer of the money, which is fast becoming worthless. Jesus refused the money and dwelt upon the truth that is written that we must not worship Satan. Satan places behind us and not in front of us. It is the nature of Satan to try and deceive the very angels in heaven. Not think of the fools who are in his hell. In the Bible, it's written that you will accept the enemy and go down in the lake of fire with him. Read the fallen passages of your Bible, withdraw on the time of yourself. America. See, the American white people are more concerned today about mistreating the black one slave of America. America is concerned with any nation on earth that's attacking her outlying posts. Her enemies are intensifying the attack on her. America right out of the frying pan into the fire all over the earth due to her evil intention against her loyal black one slave. Her talk of evil doing against the black one slave in America is worse than it is against independent nations that they are trying to attack and destroy her countries, while America had more hatred for the black one slave and the millers who are faithfully fighting on the frying line to help her against her enemies than she is against enemies that they are shooting down. See, white America talks of building concentration camp, prison house for the black one slave, the black man in America. I'm told that America already have concentration camps built for this purpose. You see, concentration camps are jailhouses, prison houses. See, this is why I cry day and night to my black brothers and sisters to seek refuge and allow God at such a time as this. The Muslims do not have to worry about any such imprisonment. For the Muslims are already a citizen of the Nation of Islam. And we have our own people, Muslims, to deliver us from the order of God. This is why it's so necessary that the black man in America accept Allah God and his names and get out of the names of the enemy, white slave masters, who does not seek to bring about peace for us. The enemy seeks to bring about our death. See, white America won't her black one slave to suffer that which is not due to the black one slave. So the black one slave had not sinned, nor hath the black one slave attacked other nation, except under the orders of his white slave masters. Independence Day. Who Independence since 1776? You black men have been worshiping the 4th of July along with the real authors of the 4th of July. The white man as a day of independence for themselves. It is the white slave masters and the children who have joined setting forth the 4th of July as a day of rejoicing and overachieving this country of independence than any other foreign source. Now, the history of the 4th of July shows that it is the Independence Day of the American white man. They wrote their Declaration of Independence for themselves. So the white man did not put anything in the Declaration of Independence for the benefits of the black man who was the servitude slaves of the white man at that time. The joy which the black slave experienced on these holidays of the white man was due to this black man getting rest from his labor, the days which the white man had set aside for celebration. It is all the black slave were rejoicing over, that he did not have to work that day. But you are free now. You do not need this for an excuse for your worshiping of the 4th of July. There is no further need for us to worship the gaining of the white man's independence. Let us take a look again at our own black independence, how it came on the same day of the 4th of July, at the coming of Allah God, who came in person of Master Allah Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever. On July 4th, 1930. The Independence Day of this white man is very great. It is the day of great rejoicing, as with former people and their governments. We see the destruction took place when it was at the heights of their rejoicing. The king, according to the Bible history of him, we see in Daniel 4, was walking around in his palace, proudly looking around and admiring the skills of the work he has set up. It says, has not all this my hands have made? The Bible teaches us that while the word was in his mouth, the end came. Allah God changed his mind and heart from that of a civilized man to a mind and heart of a beast. He had the brain reaction of a wild beast. He was cast out among the dung. What does that signify? It gives us a gleaning into the history of this white man being cast out of the society of the Muslims 6,000 years ago, after he was made, and then started trouble amongst the people of righteousness. Troublemaking calls the white man into this hill in cave size of West Asia, as Europe was called at that time. So Allah God taught me. The name was changed to Europe after a white man was cast into that area. Europe means a place where people are bound in to keep them out of society of the righteous. Moses made the white man as the independent race through the guidance, which Allah God guide Moses to guide the white man out of his savage cage life and put him on the road of conquest of the black man. For 400 years, we see this white man has swallowed us, the black man of America, up. You see, he did not put us in the whole of the earth, but he has swallowed us up by keeping anything like wisdom from coming to us. He has set a bound against our own black people, visiting us in order to prevent them from teaching us anything other than what this white man was teaching our black slave fathers. This caged us in and made just as secure a cage as the literal cage of Europe that the Arab people put this white man in 6,000 years ago. The 4th of July is a day of rejoicing of this white man over his opponents for the Western Hemisphere. He wrote his constitution for his own white people and not for the black slaves. Since this is his day when he has set aside for celebration, then what part black brothers do you have in this day? Your part is not mixed with his part. In way of his own white politics and physical independency. But as I call your attention to proud king history, what happened to him at the heights of his kingdom, Allah God never destroyed a powerful people, nor deprived them of self-independency when they was in trouble or when they were sick with grief. He made them to feel happy. He made them think that they will live forever. So it was with the coming of Allah God and the person Master Fala Muhammad, to whom praise are due forever, on his coming to us on the 4th of July, 1930. His presence meant the destruction of the independency of the white race, especially America, over the black man. Allah God visits the black slave, for he is more in need of help to enjoy freedom of self. Since Allah God came for the purpose of bringing self-independency to the black slave, then his going forth is with justice. The Bible, Revelation 19, verse 11. To show Allah God's greatness and power over the slave masters and his people. Now Allah God attacks them at the heights of their civilization and at the greatness of the power and strength on the 4th of July, while they worship the greatness of the accomplishments. And the black slave is sitting at his feet, as it was with the king and as it was with Pharaoh, the same is being repeated today. This is the significance of Allah God coming on the 4th of July. For 400 years, we have been suffering under servitude, slavery, and at the relentless hands of the white slave master over us. Allah God came to give justice and freedom to us, to make us equal members in society of a new, powerful, strong, and wise people of the earth. Ever since that day, the 4th of July, 1930, has meant the doom of American dominations over the black man of America and the black people of this earth. Ever since that day, we see America has been falling. America's fall, we see, is now going on. And America refused to break her fall when she could have broken her fall, as the Bible teaches us. See, Babylon could have been healed, but she is not healed. In Jeremiah 51, verse 9. She did not do anything to want such forgiveness. America had been offered a chance for forgiveness, but she refused to accept it. For she never offered to do anything favorable towards her black slave that will make them free with powers to rule them. Black slaves went to their death fighting the enemy of the white slave master to help America to maintain her independence against foreign dominancy. See, the black slave was not given anything in exchange for his sacrifice. See, when a dog hunts for a hunter, see, the hunter master will sometimes share a part of the game with the dog. The black slave have helped his master to overcome, put other people under control of his white slave master. The black slave have fought and died around there to help the white slave master to conquer those whom the master called his enemies. We helped this white man to conquer Cuba and to overcome and subdue Mexico and Philippine islands and other places around this earth, also Japan. Now, how many lives did this black man lose in the Pacific by helping the white man to conquer the people of Japan, who are brown hair brothers of the black man? The brown race and the yellow race are half brothers of the black man.